Now let us study about the second important motion of the Earth, revolution. The movement of the Earth around the Sun in its orbit is called revolution. The Earth moves around the Sun at an average speed of 29.8 kilometers per second, or about 1 lakh kilometers per hour. The Earth's orbit is the path along which the Earth travels. It is elliptical in shape. The period taken by the Earth to make one complete revolution is 365 days and 6 hours. The Earth's axis is always inclined to its orbital plane at an angle of 66.5 degrees. Creation of heat zones is also marked by revolution, which we have already studied in our past chapter. Earth completes its one revolution in 365 days and 6 hours. These 6 hours are ignored and added as one day to the fourth year. This fourth year is called a leap year. The distance of the Earth from the Sun changes during the course of the rotation, varying from a maximum of 152 million km to a minimum of 147 million km. This is perihelion and aphelion position of the Earth with respect to Sun. Let us study aphelion and perihelion in detail. Aphelion. For the first 6 months of the year, the Earth moves away from the Sun. At this time, the distance between these two is 152 million km and the position is known as aphelion. Aphelion means away from the Sun. For the other 6 months of the year, the Earth is closer to the Sun. During this period, the distance between these two is 147 million km and the position is known as perihelion. Perihelion means nearer to the Sun. Now let us study the important effects of revolution. The three important effects of revolution are change of seasons, varying length of day and night, and changing altitude of the midday sun at different times of the year. The Earth's revolution round the Sun on an axis inclined at an angle of 66.5 degrees and always pointing to the same direction has very important effects. It keeps the northern half of the Earth, that is the northern hemisphere, tilted towards the Sun for half of the year, or the southern half, that is the southern hemisphere, during the other half, which brings about changes in altitude of the midday sun. The Sun is at different latitudes at different times of the year. The effect of this is the variation in the length of day and night during the course of a year. Now let us study the changes in the apparent altitude of the midday sun. The Sun is directly overhead at the equator on March 21 and September 23. These 2 days are termed as spring and autumnal equinoxes respectively. Now let us study the equinoxes in detail. The word equinox is derived from the Latin word equus, which means equal, and nox means night. It refers to equal length of day and night. At this time, Earth is not tilted towards the Sun. It happens twice a year, on March 21 and September 23. Vernal and autumnal equinox takes place respectively. Now let us study about the vernal equinox and autumnal equinox in detail. Vernal equinox is known as spring equinox because March 21 indicates spring season before the start of summer in northern hemisphere. Autumnal equinox. September 23 is called autumnal equinox. During these 2 days, the Sun is at equator 0 degree and the rays of the Sun fall vertically at the equator. All places on Earth have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. As circle of illumination passes through the poles and thus divides the Earth into equal halves.